Hello everyone and welcome back to Let's Play Hearts of Iron 4, the new order, last days of Europe, with me, Alpha Mega, an Empire of Japan. So we ended the last episode by getting the focus listen with Kido done and starting a new one which is called Pragmatism Reign Supreme. And now we're gonna go with our hallowed institutions. Well, I mean, it's an event that we got, so let's read it. It was a cozy little place, small and inconspicuous. The furniture was neither cracked nor gilded. The spirits finely aged but not expensively priced, and the staff and clientele of a discreet, anonymous sort. And the sort of place one would expect to find the Prime Minister meeting with the Lord Keeper of the Privy Seal, but also not where people would ask questions. "Frankly, Mr. Kaya," said Kido, smiling slightly, "your appointment is one that honors me. I don't mean to fully compare you to Tojo, but we cannot deny that there are certain similarities between the policies you advocate and those during the war." "I assure you, Mr. Kido," says Kaya, "I am no Tojo." "I will take your word for it. Regardless, I am also concerned by your factions. Perhaps obsessive focus on technicians, of bean counters, of machines. In the case of your younger accomplices on moneyed interests, you are in danger, I fear, of trampling over the dignity of our institutions in search of raw efficiency. It is not enough for a nation-state, especially one with an unbroken imperial legacy, as long as ours, to be a well-oiled machine. The offices and symbols of the emperor and his subjects require a high degree of reverence to operate in a proper and moral fashion, and I am not yet confident your government can achieve that." "Your concerns are well-founded," said Kaya, "and this is indeed a weakness of our current administration. However, I am not too proud to refuse help where it is needed. With your experience and expertise, I am certain we can bring the Japan of the future to a place of both efficiency and dignity." Kido's smile grew a fraction wider. "Possibly. We shall see." Okay, before we continue, let me just assign this guy who is leading the 1st and 2nd Imperial Army. I'm going to give him an offensive doctrine. And anyone else? You can get something. A guerrilla fighter. Sure, why not? Anyone else? Nope, not really. And I think I switched the Northern Garrison. Yep. Okay, so we're gonna get this guy. As far as Navy goes, the 2nd Kantai can get a smokescreen specialist, really? Okay, that's... okay, smokescreen. And you, of 4th Kantai, can get a mines. Those are absolutely useless for us at this point. Never mind then. Okay, did we finish 2? Yes, we finished 2 more destroyers, so let's put them in training. And we have new guys over here, which we can send to scout. And we have new guys, which we will put in here. Okay, so we're starting to patrol the seas fairly nicely. Again, this is for roleplay reasons. Honestly, there's really not much else that we will get from that, other than feeling good. Why do we have speed 4? Let's go with speed 3. We're gonna see what's gonna happen. Too late to act. The ugly truth. Konai Fumimaro, Kido Koichi, Higashikuni Narushiko, the Prime Minister, had a hypothesis about what a meeting involving these 3 would be about, especially at this hour of the night. His assistant had woken him up violent at that at 3 in the morning to attend his damn meeting. Now that he was finally here, none seemed willing to break the news to him. "Both the Junshin and the Privy Council have rescinded support for the government, Mr. Kaya." "Okay, well, we failed," Kochi finally said. "While the House appears still on side for now, I fear that their support is flimsy at best. If their support could see us through the rest of your Prime Ministership anyhow." He shook his head. "I'm sorry, Okinori, I feel it is over. They're calling for your resignation." Kaya turned to the 2 Junshin, both seemingly distant as the other. "We tried to sway the other, Mr. Kaya, but it just wasn't enough," Konoe said. "We're sorry." Higashikuni added, "None of the three men seemed willing to meet his eye after that. But what of it? They had said their piece. That will be all. You three may leave. You will hear my decision soon." What had Okinori done to deserve such disservice? He thought he had served the nation well. So we did the mistake, we focused on economy first, and that broke our neck. But I really don't know why it kept... Is it because of the relations? Why did it fall so fast? Now maybe we were doomed from the very beginning. He thought he had served the nation well, yet the Junshin and the council saw it well and proper to stab him in the back. Politics had an endless appetite for betrayal, it seemed, to the Prime Minister. Whatever I had brought about it, though, it was apparent to Okinori that he would serve a good deal less time as Prime Minister than he would have hoped. There was no use in contemplating his fate, however. He was the one who had brought it about after all. He would serve his final days honorably, at least. None could deny him that. So what's gonna happen now? A new interregnum? Well, okay, we'll have to get someone else. The ugly truth. Hospitals are flooded with victims. Homesteads burn in the country and German people scream for justice. News has flooded out from the Greater German Reich concerning the recent discovery of great crimes committed by the rebellious territories of the former General Government. The Polish state has been accused of brutal reprisals against German settlers in the formerly occupied territories, forcing them from their homes or worse. Photographs of mass graves have been revealed, apparently confirming the atrocities the Polish state had rejected. The Polish state had rejected these claims outright, insisting that the German Reich has committed countless crimes against the Polish people with the intent to eradicate them outright. These claims were drowned out by the sheer size of the German media apparatus. Despite the evidence provided by the Reich, many governments remain suspicious of these claims. The German Reich has a tendency towards outrageous claims and underhanded practices. Threats from within. Kazuo Aoki's face was a depressing combination of fear and paranoia. His eyes jittered just beneath his wire spectacles, almost unable to address Kaya Okinori directly, or even look him in the eyes. Whatever he needed with the Prime Minister, it had to be urgent. He had arranged this meeting near midnight. Mr. Kaya. Welcome. He smiled, a smile that faded in almost the second, his pale face almost twitching. It's bad, boss, real bad. It doesn't seem like it on the surface, but beneath, it's some... Oh, we've already read that one, hopefully. Okay. No, the support keeps dropping. We have failed our duties, we have failed ourselves. Our system has been proven rotten, and the people's faith in us lies shattered. Yet as the dust begins to settle, a new course will be set by men wiser than ourselves. May they breathe new life into this very old soul, whose heart aches with woe, and may they right our wrongs. So pray they won't fail, pray that this crisis will come to an end, and pray that it may never occur again. Let this not be the end, let us begin again. Pick this option if you want to continue playing Japan and see how deep the second interregnum rabbit hole goes. Warning, under the new Prime Minister, your game might last longer than the Envision 1972 end date. There are no proxies, no interactions with the powers, and no skeleton content beyond the envisioned end date. Remove modern hardware influence, gets even politics in number. I won't pray myself. Pick this option if you want the story to end here and believe whatever you want to believe happens next. Okay, so we shoot ourselves. Well, no, we're gonna get the second interregnum then, and we're gonna try again. God. Oh, this sucks. Okay, but it's gonna give us a little bit of time to fix. Calls to resign. Oh, hold on. Government stability will increase. Oh, but look at how much that cost. Reissue the peers, court the navy, appeal to the army. We must have at least further government stability. Most resign. We would need like 60 political power to get government stability increased by 4. That's just nonsensical. Let's get the comported guidance radar next. Wait, can we? Yeah, I think at this point, yep, it is very cheap to get these. So let's get urban industrial robotics. Factory output was 15%, production to GDP modifier, consumer goods, resource gain. Let's get resource gain. We can. Oh no, that's the only one that we're not getting bonuses for. So let's get this one. Factory output was 12.5% and production efficiency was 10. The first industrial robotics patents were granted in the late 1950s and early 1960s and worked simply to transfer objects. However, these early prototypes were the foundation for much more productive advances down the line. So I wonder if we're gonna get the same events again, which would, take us through the same cycle again. Politics in numbers. Das Großgermanische Reich der Deutschen Nation declared war on Řád Tymčasový Rzeczypospolitej Polskiej. Oh yeah. An expected outcome. Reformists. Okay, so the House of Government Stability is 3%. An expected outcome. Even for the hard-headed businessman like Ibuka Masaru, well accustomed to paper, the quarterly reports of the Tokyo Stock Exchange could be challenging read. By the 500th page, all the numbers had a tendency to blend together into meaningless jelly. This time, however, Ibuka was active and alert, pen at the ready. Those companies Fujitsu has struck deals with to provide state-of-the-art computing technology were marked with an asterisk. Those Fujitsu had approached and been rejected by their underlined. As pages flew by, Ibuka was starting to notice a definite trend. The asterisk companies were doing well, almost uniformly well. In fact, there were stubborn holdouts, as there always were in the business world. One particular group of unfortunate Fujitsu had sold to didn't seem entirely clear on what the computer actually was bought. By and large, Fujitsu was proving its worth. The underlined companies, by contrast, tended to be stagnating. He also did not fail to notice that one of these underlined companies was run by a certain Oguda Ichiro, a brother of one of the faceless Yokusankai men that had met with to pitch his products. The Oguda family doubtlessly would be distressed to find out that their business was losing money at the hands of Fujitsu competitors. Ibuka allowed himself a self-satisfied smile and picked up the phone. Perhaps he would make a second offer. What the hell is going on with these computers? There is a chain of events running since the very beginning of this, and I have no idea where it's leading. Politics and numbers. The YSK corporatists were broken, having gambled everything on a radical reformation and restoration of the YSK's role in coordinating a unified national polity. They had been unable to withstand the storm of criticism that had followed. The liberals, the conservatives, and eventually from the imperial palace itself. In the wake of the corporatist disgrace, the imperial diet, the newspapers, and the populace all agreed. It was time for a more familiar kind of politics. I don't like the sound of that, guys. That sounds bad. The struggle to define said familiar politics was the order of the day, pitting Ikera's mainstream conservatives against Takagi's resurgent liberal reformists. Through curated press releases, parliamentary study sessions, and night after night of ryotei banquets, Ikeda and Takagi spared no expense to sway the YSK's rank and file towards their respective camps. The corporatists and the technocrats were too proud to admit they'd been beaten, but neither could they ignore how events simply passed them by. Without Kaya, their patron, their entreaties and policy recommendations seemed to fall on deaf ears. With no parliamentarian sparing them a second glance, though it was unclear whether this was of true disinterest, withering contempt, or self-preservation. Reluctantly, the corporatists fled behind the conservatives. In desperation, the corporatists lined up behind the liberals. Well, honestly, realistically speaking, after this crash, it would make sense to go back to the conservatives. I don't like it at all. I don't like it at all, but they are the strongest party. If we try to go with reformists again, if we try to go with someone else again, 2.5% of 124 is like 3 men. A coalition of conservatives and technocrats could rule, or conservatives and reformists. I was so against going with the conservatives, but we have to go with them because they're the only stable party here. 135 guys that are gonna rule. It's just how it's supposed to be, I guess. On this level of difficulty, we have very little choice. Calls to resign. We're still getting... Hopefully we're gonna get this one then. It would be great if we could finish at least that one to get the 50 political power. Hohenfeldzug. Screens across the globe have once more been filled with the stark image of Führer Bormann against the bright whites and the red and black swastikas. The Greater German Reich is once more at war. Despite all attempts at negotiation, he claims the German people are involved in Verteidigungskrieg, a war of defense against the violent terrorist government of the Polish state. Once more German tanks would dig their muddy treads through Polish fields and battle will rage. The largely unrecognized Polish government has responded that their alleged crimes are a falsehood created as a casus belli, but that nonetheless they will fight to the end in resistance of the German invader. Despite the elan of the soldiers of the newfound Polish army, they are hopelessly outnumbered by the forces of the Einheitspact. The war is expected by many to be a shorter and bloodier recreation of the 1939. Look at that they literally have nothing. What do they have? About 60,000 men. Reich has about 1 million, and they're being invaded from Ukraine, which Ukraine alone has about triple their army. That's just sad. Okay, let me look at this though. We really don't need many factories on this anymore. So let's put it to 2. Put one more here. Basic anti-air, we can put a little bit more here. Okay, let me upgrade you. We'll upgrade the Chiwas that we have. We're not gonna upgrade you. Keijo, nope. And we'll put the rest on getting the aircraft that we need. Okay, we have enough attack helicopters for now. We have enough the basic jet consular support and the basic jet carrier fighters. Let's put these on jet interceptors and jet consular support. One more here, one more here. We need to fill what we're missing first and foremost. Takagi's choice. No matter how civilized it looked on the surface, Takagi thought that politics had plenty in common with war. The sea of handwritten notes and printed documents overflowing from his desk immediately reminded him of similar stressful moments in Navy service. The grappling with uncertainty, a clash of wills and preparations held in secret from the enemy, that built up to a single culminating moment where one would either revel in victory or swallow defeat. And if politics was similar to war, then it stood to reason that only a fool went in on equal footing with the enemy. Only with an overwhelming advantage could a battle be called fair, and in the all-important race to become prime minister, that meant winning the favor of the Jushin, those political grandees who recommended a suitable candidate to the emperor. Even if they remained on the sideline, the Jushin were watching every move, every word coming from the Diet. Takagi's sway over the membership of the YSK was surely important, but equally so would be his policies affected the Jushin position and the welfare of the nation. Takagi stood, taking a momentary break to observe the scene outside his office window. If the men and women outside, and surely amongst them the Jushin, could see inside, what would they see? They respond better to the image of an admiral, the esteemed captain arguing change was needed to stabilize the ship of state, or was it time to embrace this transformation into the fervent believer in reform his factions needed him to be? His authority came from his convictions. More power to the conservatives. We're just gonna boost them to max and hope that they will be able to hold the empire stable. 146. So they now have more than the Kidoites and reformists together. So if we can snatch good relations with technocrats and independents, it should be good. But we'll see. I'm thinking we're gonna do something with the economy. Yeah, we're gonna get this one. We do have the public support and we're gonna use it now. Special Forces Modernization Program has finished. You guys upgraded all of your destroyers, so let us now upgrade these ones. That's the last of them. And actually no, we still have you guys over here. So let's get you as well, and that's gonna be it. We have 3 production units, not a big surprise. We've finished the research over here. We need stability, that's what we need most of all. Our assault company. Economy first now. Now we need to get the resource extraction free. The extra 10% is gonna be big for us. Gone are the days of pickaxe and shovel. Now pneumatic drills and electric carts allow the extremely fast resource production and transportation. Perfect for fueling any growing industry. Decisions available. Ikeda's influence. So let's get... No, we want the austerity measures. Okay, so Poland has been annexed. And it is now back to general government. Ikeda's influence. An internal meeting of YSK Policy Research Council, a working lunch with senior bureaucrats reviewing the details of sorghum and wheat imports from Manchukuo, a personal tour of the Diet for collectibles from his constituency, along with the requisite tokens of appreciation, envelopes stuffed with banknotes kept in a briefcase filled to the brim. Such was a normal day for Ikeda Masanosuke of the Impure Diet. His schedule booked from sunup to sundown. Now with the YSK leadership up for grabs, Ikeda forgoed even brief moments of rest in favor of one or more phone calls, a quick 5-minute catch-up, or pointed questions to his aides. If it was going to be passed over for Prime Minister again, Ikeda resolved it wouldn't be for lack of trying. Ikeda had the three essential tools of a successful parliamentarian: a support base, name recognition, and financial resources, and he would use every resource at his disposal to win the fight of his political life. But the Jushin, those former prime ministers and court officials who retained the right to name a new prime minister, were too well connected, too wealthy, and too independent to be swayed by base incentives. Of course, Ikeda's greatest strength was the wide coalition he would bring with him. If the Jushin wanted stability, Ikeda could deliver that in spades, especially after their previous choice had backfired so spectacularly. But promises of stability would inevitably pale before promises of change. Perhaps it was better to stack the deck with promises of a more personal nature, of influence, of power for the aristocratic and vested interest the Jushin protected. Promise something more personal. So yeah, we're going back to the corrupt conservative government. Yeah, but now we have more than the same amount as technocrats and reformists together. No, that would be okay. They would have a little bit more, but not a whole lot. Now let's get implementation of austerity measures, which is gonna make people very mad, but it's gonna fix our economy finally, and we'll be back to a small but reasonable growth. Pardon me. Okay, we can get the expanded support chip roles. Doctrine cost 50. So let's get this one, expanded support chip roles, which gives us organization plus 10, screen attack plus 5%, screen defense plus 5%. Support ships perform a vital role, fueling and supplying our ships and ferrying our servicemen. But what if they could do more? Radar and sonar, minesweeping equipment, depth charges, AA guns, missile defense systems. Every eventuality we can prepare for is a ship saved, and the support ships must do their part in protecting the fleet. Okay. And Taimei Koka. The end did not come with popular acclaim or a momentous announcement before the Imperial Diet. It came as a single phone call and a hushed whisper. You will have a visitor. Wear your finest. Don't keep them waiting. The man rushed to get dressed and marshal a household to receive a guest of the highest caliber would only be completed as the sound of an approaching car could be heard in the distance. As the engine grew louder and then stopped, the entire scene would fall silent. The anointed host standing at attention behind the door. One knock, then two. There would be not a third. It would be rude to keep the imperial emissary waiting. The door would be opened and the host would bow, as would his entire entourage. The guest, a court messenger dressed in embroidered western court attire, a vestige of a bygone age, would not cross the threshold. Instead, they would relay a simple message. His Majesty, the Emperor, hereby orders his loyal subject to assemble the ministers of his government. A silence, ordained by custom, heavy with the weight of the Emperor's trust. This is gonna kill our focus, won't it? Ikeda Masanosuke becomes leader of the fascism party. The technocrat faction power increases by 5%. Must take great care to maintain our position. We must also take care to never drop under 50% in the support of the House of Peers. Yep, that removed that, and we got Prime Minister Ikeda Masanosuke. A constitutional approach or Sionjist doctrine. Well, I don't like this. So what's the situation like right now? Government stability is 2%. That's amazing. But we have 183 conservatives. So if you want the propaganda campaign... What's our relations like? Terrible, excellent with conservatives, good with Kidoitas, poor. So if we have enough MPs, so the relations are okay. So we need to focus everything we can on the government stability. And neither one of these conservative faction power increases, relations increase, public approval, support decreases though. Public approval increases, administrative efficiency will improve, political power and faction power increases. Single lines. Uniting the Kinkyukai. Or this one would increase our power. Kidoita's relation decrease, reformist, but our faction power increases. The loyalty contracts. Faction power. Support and political power. Friends in the queer club. Support. Faction power. Relations. Wow, this one is actually really big. The Grey Eminence, the Admiral knows best. No more 50 years plans. No more industrial associations. This is gonna be a mess. But honestly, the fact that we have a stability so low, I'm not even sure if it's possible to continue here. Because when you look at it, if our government stability is 2%, but this is gonna refresh, I think, because it says not the largest faction in the Diet, and we definitely are. Okay, support is fine, but if we increase that, and we become the strongest, well, we'll have to see. We'll just have to see. I guess that's all that we can say for now. So in the next episode, we're gonna decide which way we're gonna go and what we want to do here. Oh, Gaia wasn't meant to be, I guess. I mean, I screwed it up royally, but this was really a bit too brutal in my opinion. What do you give us? Nothing. Political power gain? Nothing. Resource gain efficiency, consumer goods lowered, political power gain. Well, we're still barely getting any. Oh well.